Another day and another project. Hello everyone, this is ChemDork and welcome to another Minecraft video. Once again, we're continuing our Buildcraft world here, and well, another project for today is to find out a good way to convert our oil into fuel, which will be much more efficient for machines. Now, specifically, I'm creating this. And this, well, I'll get to in just a second. So yeah, while I start to complicate things, it looks cool. So that's your like, ooh, it's cool. It's gonna be interesting, sort of something to entice you. So here we have our oil tanks. They are full, and there's tons more oil. I thought there wasn't a lot because this waterfall is now gone, but that was just because of the geyser. The oil geyser was making a little nice oil waterfall down this mountain, which was really cool. But yeah, once you got rid of the geyser, which was actually pretty easy, you realize that there's a gigantic pool of oil on the bottom. It's kind of like a thermometer bulb, where all the oil is really in the bottom of the bulb, and the thermometer portion really just has a tiny, sort of skinny tube of oil. Anyways, okay, this is my switch for the oil pump up top, which will eventually pump oil all the way up and then all the way down into these tanks, which are now full. I need to turn this oil, which is actually a pretty decent fuel, into one that is way better, and that is you can do that using a refinery. So let me just, I can't build one here. Never mind. I'll probably need one of those anyway. But a refinery basically takes in fuel, takes in oil and outputs fuel. And you can just use an engine, like a combustion engine, or a redstone engine, to power a refinery, but it's ridiculously slow. And Space Toad, the guy who actually created this mod, did in his video, he basically kind of said that you really shouldn't use a refinery with a combustion engine. And in fact, they go very, very slowly with a combustion engine. And you know what? I might actually show you first a refinery in action. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here is what I'm talking about. This little thing here is a refinery. It has a little bit of oil in it, as you see right there. It's supposed to come from this tank, which doesn't have any more left, but this is my creative world, so that's why I can fly around and whatnot. So if we just run it with a steam little engine here, we'll see it working. And you see how this side is just barely going up and then coming down, and barely going up and then coming down. And what we can do is we can run this pump and pump out the fuel. The fuel is this yellow stuff, this stuff that looks like pee. So we turn black stuff into stuff that looks like pee. But this combustion engine just doesn't work very well, you see? It's not a combustion engine, I'm sorry, this is the steam engine. It just doesn't work that well, so let's turn it off. What does work very well is this. So if I extend this, you'll see it's starting to now use both of those, and they're going up and down in a sort of, I don't know, they're like fighting one another. Now this is actually pretty slow. It's still not that great, but as you see here, if you follow this, you see that little pipe? It has this gold pipe, has this blue thin line running through it. This thin line is power. It's another feature of this Buildcraft mod, which is pretty cool. So we have these three engines here. They're running on just whatever oil is barely left from here. Running on that oil and pushing up and creating power, and that's that thin line. Now if you just had one of these, so let me get rid of, I don't know, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of this. You see that this line is, see how it doesn't quite, it's not full? And this now refinery is going a little less than it was before. It's basically, you really need to have multiple of these. So you look, if I just put that one, these both are now running, and you see this line is now solid instead of being, if I did this, see how it's periodic? It's a line, it's gone, it's there, it's gone, it's there, it's gone. But if we add this to the mix, that line becomes a little stronger. And if we add this to the mix, you see how it got a little thicker. And the more of these you add, and you can string them all together, you will get a nice, like, basically a power plant that creates a lot of power and can make this refinery go much, much, much faster. So that's the refinery for you, and that's kind of what we're going to want to do. So let's go back to it. Oh, this is a quarry. It's pretty cool, right? just showing you what's to come. The quarry automatically mines out a given area. So as you see, it's mining out this area. This is the default 9x9, but it can be much larger. And a quarry can run on power. And this power is running basically another method. You can actually string together a whole bunch of pumps, combustion engines, to run this thing. These aren't running just because they ran out of juice. But yeah, look at it go. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. We will be running, using our power down below, running it back up here, and I think my refinery is going to be like over here. Maybe. Yeah, it'll be like over here. Why not? I guess. I'm obviously very, very definite about this, huh? Anyway, yeah, I think so. I just got to look at this for a second and see, because I want to make sure that I have enough room to run my power. So I have to think about placement a little bit, but yeah. I just want to see this power plant in action and see what it can generate. So thus far, what we've done is strung together these are 10 10 combustion engines. It's going to run on oil and be cooled by water. So as you see, this pipe here has some water in it. This would be our water coolant. Once I turn the pump on, the pump's not on. And this right now is coming from oil. It'll be coming from that oil pipe. But until and that is, at least for the time being, once I use this to generate fuel, I'll run this on fuel, and it'll run on itself. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but it should. So, okay, let's see. This is meant to be the on-off switch for these pumps. So right now it's going to be off. Let me go ahead and turn on the oil and fuel pumps, and water pumps, and because I want to see how strong of a current this thing can run. Okay, so I've turned on the water, and I've also turned on the oil pumps. And so you see these combustion engines are filling up with oil and water. For the water pump, it's just the one that's controlled in my control room over here. The oil pump is actually just coming right from these tanks for now, and I just set up this redstone engine system. Redstone engines are nice in that they're free power, but the bad thing about them is that they can't run forever. They start out running blue, just like all the engines, and also with all the engines, they have different temperatures. One is green, yellow, red, and flashing red before they end up exploding, which is something you really don't want. Redstone engines are pretty easy to explode because they overheat pretty quickly, even operating and using all their energy. Other engines, they tend to overheat a little slower. The combustion engine, I actually haven't had one overheat on me unless I sort of forced it. I did try to force it, and it did eventually overheat. But what you basically have to do is make sure you're using all the power that your engines are generating. So let's go ahead and take that oil from the top. You see it's pretty much filled every one of these, so I can probably shut off the pump, which is what I'll do because I don't want to waste it. It won't waste the oil. It won't just go out everywhere. It'll just, be pumping against itself, and yeah, you really kind of don't want that. So there you go. For all my oil pumping systems, I'm not going to use too much of a cooling and worry about that too much. I'm just going to pump in enough so I can get sort of fill her up every now and then. But for now, let's turn on the system. So you see I have this pretty cool wave pattern going. I intentionally set up the redstone that way. As you see, they are generating power, each one of them. This little blue thin line in each of these wooden pipes shows that it's generating power. The thing is, they're not connecting. And the reason why they're not connecting is because these gold pipes, even though they are connected, they're not connected to anything that is using power or needing power. And so this power is just kind of hanging out in this wooden pipe. And I think at this point in time, you will have a tendency to overheat these engines because they're not actually, the power they're generating isn't being used. And that causes engines to overheat. So I'll go ahead and shut it off. I'll show you the wiring I did for this. It's pretty simple wiring. So this is the wire that just goes right down. This is actually in the off state. It travels here. It gets inverted. and then goes through the system where there's a repeater here, repeater here, repeater here. I had to do it this way because I needed some way where I just run a wire right down the center of all these instead of going all the way around. You can't just put a redstone wire like this. This doesn't work because, well, here, see, I'll show you. This doesn't work because it does not turn off these. I'll demonstrate. Yeah, see, it doesn't turn off these redstone torches. This way does, though. So if you want to do something, do it this. If you want to do this, do it this way. Take it down one and have this redstone repeater go through this block. It'll transmit through that block to this one. It'll also power this block. And when you have a block like this, you can put blocks on either side, and it will actually transmit sort of this way. I can actually transmit to the block. If there's a torch on a block that was, say, above this, you can actually put a torch here and also have the... Oh, maybe you can't. Okay, never mind. But yeah, this works. So, yep, you see it. It's turning off every one of those. Now, I could set the delay to something a little less, but I like this, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, that's the wiring. So to craft your refineries, it's a simple little crafting recipe. 3 tanks. The tanks are crafted by putting glass blocks, not glass wall pieces, glass blocks, all the way around the outside here, 8 of them. And it'll give you a tank. So I want to make 3 refineries. Whoops. 3. There we go. A diamond gear in the center. So each diamond gear requires 4 diamonds. So this is actually pretty significant recipe. And a torch at each side, and that'll give you a refinery. We can make 3. So there's our 3 refineries. We'll be using them, and I think I'll be able to power all 3. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see it in action. Okay, well, this is the fast forward sequence of this video. I decided to fast forward through this because we're just going to be replacing our refineries and building at normal speed. It's not really all too exciting. So as you see here, I'm highlighting the power lines, and you see the other pipe down the bottom is the one for our oil. Placing our refineries here, I decided why not make 3 right now. And underneath, we're going to be putting the wooden pipes. These wooden pipes are going to be used to extract our fuel as it's being produced. Now, I don't need a crazy engine to extract the fuel, or a crazy powerful one, so I'm just using redstone engines, at least for now. I could change them later, but as you see, when I place them, I'm going to have to reposition them with a wrench. But for now, I just wanted to get the wiring down. So I briefly show you here the wiring behind. You see the wire starts there. Signal gets inverted so that it's off to begin with. And I'm just using repeaters to propagate the signal. Now let's go give it a test. Turning it on, you see, yeah, they worked fine. So now it's just a matter of changing the position of these redstone engines, because you see the left 2 are positioned incorrectly. So if we grab a wrench, we can just right-click and position them correctly, and now they're all ready to go. So now it's just a matter of setting up our pipework underneath and the tank. The tank will be right next to the refineries here. As you see, I almost fell down there. But yeah, let's just try to put it right next to here. And I started putting it right next to here, but then I realized that pretty quickly that this wasn't going to work. And that is because when I placed this tank right next to it, you see me cutting it down, that piece of tank I just broke right there, it's right next to that wooden pipe. And that would probably create a problem with that engine, because when the engine was powered, it would pull from both the refinery and the tank, and that wouldn't be really a good thing. So I had to move it over here. This works just fine, though. I think it looks okay, too. Could use probably a few more tanks, and I'll be expanding upon that later, but for now it's just 1 tank. And now it's just a matter of running the fuel lines to the back of our refineries, which, of course, I need stone pipe. There's my stone waterproofing pipe, and let's just cover that up because I keep on falling down there. Okay, there's the pipes, and now let's make it look kind of pretty. Light up back here because we're going to get mobs there if I don't do that. And until then, now let's go ahead and run the power, which I am using the stone electrical pipes. Now the stone pipes, they propagate electricity just the same as the gold. They lose the signal and the intensity of your electrical current, though. They lose it at a much faster rate than the gold pipes. But, yep. So I went ahead and turned on the oil pumps so that it could fill in the refineries. As you notice, the oil it's starting to come. And that'll do it for the fast portion of this. Now let's get back to testing out our refineries. Okay, I am back, and these things are starting to fill up with oil, which is good. Let me actually start the power. Oh, excuse me. Let's start this guy. We have the combustion engines are full of oil and ready to go. So now we're generating power. Now you see how they're all connected, and that is because, as you see, it takes them just a second to get up to full power. But now that they're all connected, the beam is solid. So let's see. Let's look at that solid beam. Looking pretty strong. And as you see, awesome. These guys are all going up and down and working to create fuel, which is really awesome. Now I want to see if the amount of power I'm putting in is sufficient to basically combat one-to-one the how fast the oil gets pushed in. So I want to see which one wins out. Basically, if they remain and get all full, then yeah, the oil is being pushed in at a rate that's faster than the fuel is being produced. So I want to see if this is actually, basically, I want to see which one's faster, fuel production or oil production. So right now, looks as though, you see this oil is being filled up pretty quickly. So it looks as though oil production, or oil pumping in, is quicker than the fuel pumping in, which is fine. And if I want to pump in out the fuel, I can use these pumps. Oh, actually. Is it? Huh. You know, I don't need those pumps at all. It looks like this just automatically pumps out its own fuel. Huh, I didn't know that. Certainly does look like it, doesn't it? Let me see if this is raising up. Huh, that's pretty cool. Maybe it pumps out at a rate at, I don't know. Well, these are filling up with fuel, which is really weird. So let me just start these pumps and see what happens. Because I would imagine maybe there's just a low level of fuel in there. It looks like, there you go. See how they're quickly going away now? Yeah, you need to pump it out. And this is now going up, maybe? Maybe? Maybe not. Still, that's not really a full refinery, so this is working pretty well, though, I must say. I could probably get one more refinery in here without much difficulty whatsoever. I think my wiring job is, fine, but yeah, the 3 refineries are working fine for me right now. They will generate enough power for me for the time being. So, awesome. Sweet. Wait, this is still being pumped in? Yes. Wow, okay, so it looks like the oil might be, yeah, I would expect these pipes to be full by now. But anyways. Alright, so we got our refinery going, and our fuel economy, or our fuel business here, is going okay. Alright, guys. It's a new day, and our new project has been completed. Pretty cool now. And I will continue. The next project will be to use more of this power that's being generated by our power station, which I really like the look of. It's pretty cool from here. Go power station. It'll also be to beautify this area too. I kind of don't want to be able to jump up here. I want to have some glass or something like that basically hiding this, but that's pretty cool. See, none of these engines are overheating yet, and they really shouldn't ever. Because of the coolant. It'll take a long while for them to do so. But pretty awesome. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next vid.